We're looking at the weather around the boroughs on the start of a warm trend, Maria.
Yeah, it's a mild right now for sure. Muggy too, but dry, at least dry skies. From Brooklyn at 69 degrees, Queens at 71. We're at 66 in Staten Island, 68 in the Bronx. Headed up close to 90 today. Will we get a break from the storms? Not the case tomorrow. We get everything: the heat, the storms, the poor air quality. Breaking it all down for you coming up in the 10-day. Thanks so much. Kind of a lot nervous about the tropical season down the road, because you can have water temperatures like that supercharge a system just before landfall. So this is something that we'll be watching for many weeks and many months. And of course, we've been talking about it for weeks now, the excessive heat. And it's all across the country and really around the globe, both hemispheres. The Antarctic sea ice has been at record lows for months now, set a new record low recently. And look at these temperatures overnight. Phoenix at 104 currently, but it's not just the heat, it's that humidity. Dew points into the 70s all the way up into Canada. So we're all feeling it. We're going to see this continue to build the next few days, and anticipating some pretty rough days here Thursday and Friday. Heat advisories in effect for just about everywhere, and now we've added excessive heat watches. So that's just sort of one more category where we expect that heat index from northeastern New Jersey, basically down the turnpike into Philadelphia, to get close to or exceed 100 degrees, and not just for a minute or two, probably for a few hours. And that definitely is that dangerous level as we get into tomorrow afternoon, and then again on Friday. We see that heat peak on Friday, when finally by the weekend we get a cold front to come on through, and it cuts it down by quite a bit. I'll show you that in a second. So we're still building up to it. This morning, one weather issue I want to give you a heads up. We got some of that haze, but also some patchy fog out there. It's 68 currently at Central Park. That dew point in the mid 60s. It is muggy. And so temperature wise, as we head up into the 80s, upper 80s today, at times feeling closer to 90, we do see dry skies. So we're getting a break from the storms today. And then by tonight, holding on to that warmth, 76 degrees for the low. That's it. 94 tomorrow, at times feeling closer to 100 degrees. But we do have showers and thunderstorms expected. And in fact, strong thunderstorms are possible. That outlook is for the entire area. All the risks on the table here, not just the heavy rain and the gusty winds and some hail, but we've got to keep an eye on that tornado risk again tomorrow afternoon and evening, something that we'll be watching very closely, something to keep in mind as you may be struck by lightning and with your Mega Millions. But no lightning right now. We're looking at Midtown, just a lot of haze, and of course that building heat. If you're about ready to take your fur baby out, and we've got a little baby here. This is Diamond from Queens. Better watch that little tender belly right there on the hot pavement. 80 degrees by 11 a.m., but the heat continues to peak through the rest of the week when it's cut short. And just how long this cool break will last, I'll show you that pleasantry in the forecast in the 10-day coming up. Thanks so much. Guys, that we often talk about how hot it gets during the day, but overnight low temperatures with this stretch of heat also add to the danger. We are just not cooling off a lot over the next few mornings. In fact, tomorrow morning 76 the low, but by Saturday morning in the city, it'll be struggling to dip below 80 degrees. And that is definitely in that territory where you just don't get any relief. We do eventually, though, that front coming through by the end of the weekend, and has some staying power with that cooler weather. But in the meantime, yes, it's going to be a brutal couple of days. We're building up to it today. So these heat alerts are taking effect tomorrow and into Friday. Heat advisories in orange, the excessive heat watches. So kind of a notch up above that heat advisory. Northeastern New Jersey, down the turnpike into the Philadelphia area. It's all telling the same story, though. The heat and humidity combination will keep that heat index 95 to 100 degrees for several hours during the heat of the day. And you can see that with our feels like temperature forecast for tomorrow midday and even through the evening, hanging on to that heat. We're also looking at some showers and thunderstorms that'll start to fire up again tomorrow afternoon. I'll show you that in a second. I want to get you ready for out the door now, though, and this is one weather issue we're facing. Some pretty dense fog. Somewhere out there we have the Governor Mario M. Cuomo Bridge, but it is pretty dense from the Hudson Valley, Connecticut, and even through the Delaware Valley. So give yourself a little extra time if you're heading in those directions. 68 degrees right now at Central Park. The dew point into the mid 60s, so it is definitely mild and muggy. Up to 88 today, at times feeling more like 90 plus, but we are storm free. It's full sunshine today, which is great news for the Yanks and the Mets today. It's just going to be pretty warm, so stay hydrated. Near 80 degrees still as the game wraps up. 76 overnight tonight, and then again tomorrow, 94 degrees with the chance for some showers and storms, and we do think there's the possibility of severe weather. So another thing to prepare for tomorrow, along with heavy rainfall, even some hail.
Everybody's watching. We're to see what the storms are like, what the temperatures are like.
Right. Well, we're getting a break from the storms, not so much the heat, which continues to build today, where we're going to be up near 89 degrees at 4 p.m. in Passaic after starting off in the 60s. Mount Vernon, Westport, Hauppauge all into the mid and upper 80s today. Obviously, the heat continues tomorrow, and the storm chance is back, along with that severe weather threat. So I'm going to break down the timing for all of it and the nice break we get by the end of the weekend coming up in the 10-day. Not an elite athlete, or if you are, too. So that type of weather setup, and we certainly have that visual right now as we look outside this morning with that hazy sky and that sort of orangey glow of that haze. So we're building up to it. We do have that higher heat concern as we get into Thursday and Friday. So out the door right now, it's 68 degrees, but that dew point's at 65. So it definitely feels really stuffy. The wind's not really moving the air around, so it's pretty uncomfortable still. 85 degrees by 1 o'clock. We're on our way up to a high of 88 degrees, at times feeling closer to 90. So definitely sort of that regular summer hot. Southwest winds about 5 to 10. One aspect too, when we talk about high heat, excessive heat, it's not just the high temperatures. We got to look at the low temperatures. We're just not cooling off the next few mornings. By tomorrow morning, just 76 degrees. But we're going to be struggling to dip below 80 by Saturday morning. You can see after that, though, that's the real relief. But it's going to be a brutal couple of days. So we do have those heat alerts posted. These start tomorrow and into Friday. Heat advisories in orange for just about everywhere. And then that excessive heat watch, including portions of the metro from northeast New Jersey down the turnpike into the Philadelphia area. That is just sort of that heat advisory up a notch, where the heat index value for several hours will be 95 to 100 plus degrees. And we have that in our feels like forecast really across the area, kind of tough heat. But we do also have showers and thunderstorms kicking back up tomorrow. We get a break today. Tomorrow, severe weather is possible. All the hazards on the table, the flash flooding and the gusty winds, of course, but also the possibility of hail. And unfortunately, that tornado risk tomorrow isn't zero. So we'll be watching the conditions coming into play for that really closely by tomorrow afternoon. If you're wondering when we get that relief, yes, we've got it coming for the weekend, but looking at the longer term sort of outlook here, our part of the country, a nice little nook, a nice little area where we can expect some relief.
Trying to get the word out to people to stay as safe as they can.
Yeah, just listen to your body, and remember, those kids aren't little adults. They're susceptible to that heat a lot faster, and today is going to be hot. We're off to a mild and muggy start from Brooklyn and Queens, upper 60s and lower 70s, the Bronx too. You see that sun shining. We are getting a break from the storms today. It's back tomorrow and the weekend, but this is going to bring some major heat relief. Talking refreshing forecast for you in the 10-day.
Thanks so much.
At least we won't need to watch the radar like we were yesterday for the game. As we mentioned, first pitch at 7:05, still really warm, just not quite as brutal as some of the games across the region will be the next few days, but still 80 degrees by the time fans head home. So tomorrow we really start to ramp things up, which is why we have those heat advisories in place. Those are in orange for just about everywhere, but excessive heat watches, that's sort of one category up here from northeast New Jersey down the turnpike pretty much into Philadelphia, and that's where we are expecting heat index values in that 95 to 100 degrees for a couple of hours. And that's definitely that dangerous territory when you start dealing with that level of heat and humidity for that long. And it continues not just from midday, but into the evening. And you see things cool down a bit. This is temporary relief because we do have some storms in the forecast. I'll show you that in a second. But when we're talking about real relief from the heat and humidity, we need a front, and that's coming this weekend. But look at this. This is the dew point forecast, where we're very humid, sweltering levels here through Saturday, and it drops. By the time we get to Monday, dew points in the 50s, you're going to want to open up those windows again. So that relief is coming. This is not super prolonged heat. We are going to see showers and storms touch off tomorrow. Some will be on the strong side. So we've got that severe weather outlook. All the hazards on the table here, including hail, and tornado threat isn't zero for tomorrow. So we'll be watching that really closely. We've been watching the cams too. We've had some fog across the area. We get to see the Governor Mario M. Cuomo Bridge right now. So visibility's improved there, but some patchy fog across the rest of the area. 68 now, that dew point at 65, so the heat and humidity 88, but feeling closer to 90 most of the day today, and we hang on to a lot of that warmth, so dipping only to about 76 tomorrow morning, and then we get to 94 tomorrow afternoon, feeling closer to 100 degrees at times, and of course that